The Director of Communications at ODM, that is Philip Petale. I appreciate being here, and to fellow Kenyans, my name is Barnabas Otieno. I'm a Kenyan, just like any other Kenyan, with full interest in the affairs of our country. As the elections were taking place, we all had interest in it. And so, this time I think the IEBC was very clear, and they said, we have given you the results. Everybody should add up their results. So I also sat glued on TV, and when I realized different TV stations were giving different results and there was a lot of confusion, I said, this is possible. Somebody can just sit and work with what the IBC have in their portal and to come up with some values. And so I did that. And when I did that, I came up with results almost same as what the IBC portal were displaying. So because I was doing it as an individual and without much, not really having a reason to do that, just to know the reality and the truth, we kept quiet about it, because at the end of it, the presidential candidate that supposedly won was announced, and we had to all keep quiet. Those who are celebrating, those who are making, not happy, they were not happy. And because I am Azimio from the beginning, I'm actually ODM from the beginning, you definitely know where my heart was. My heart was that we lost. And so we could celebrate. So at one point I decided to come up and say, these are the results. But when I look at them, because I was looking at it polling station by polling station, I noticed that there were some little discrepancies here and there. And it was like, in one station, which could have, one polling center, which probably is a school, could have like 5 polling stations. And in that 5 polling stations, you find that Azimio is leading, and then just in one of them, Azimio has terribly lost, in just one. Then I'm wondering, these are 5 stations in one center, in which Azimio has won massively in 4 and lost in 1. Then I said here, there are some queries that we need to raise here. So I walked to the party secretariat, and said, let's try to analyze this further. And when I went to the secretariat, it was like, we also have that feeling, but we can't put our fingers on the actual places that things happened. Apparently, I didn't know much about this whistleblower data, because I also saw it on TV when the Honorable Jeremy Akioni was announcing that we have a new data set that is showing that Azimio won. But they stuck at only the top tallies. And those top tallies were not easy to decipher and calm down and know this is exactly what happened. So, to some surprise, there was some hidden website somewhere where the whistleblower had put in his forms. But a lot of people didn't know about that. So I went to the executive director, and he gave me that website link, and then I took all those forms and downloaded. When I checked on them, I realized they were almost exactly the same as the Form 34Bs that were found at Bomas. Everything was basically same features, nothing different. So he said, let me try to go through them again, the way I went through the portal data, and extract the results from there, and let's see what comes of it. And so probably that's what we want to look at today. Really, that's basically what it is that we need to check on if given a chance.
Mr. Barnabas, before you go into the nitty-gritty of
yes.
this show, the figures that you have,
yes.
I want to indulge our viewer. But if you have any question, please don't hesitate to post, and we'll be able to at intervals I'll be interjecting Mr. Barnabas to pose some of your questions so that we can be on the same page. Go on and show the figures where there are discrepancies and how.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I may take you directly to the system. Let's call it a system for now, because there are some things you cannot do without the help of a computer. And thank God, computers always give us exactly what we want it to give us. And maybe taking you there, I have titled the presentation as 2022 Presidential Election Analysis, as you can see it there. We are comparing two forms, the IEBC server forms, which came later, and also the portal forms, which were there. Everybody had access to the portal forms until at some point when they were withdrawn from the IEBC portal. This is how it's all arranged. When you look at the national tally, that is where our leader, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, has been speaking of, I have a value. And the value that he's saying he has is 8.11 million. That is 8,112,244 votes, which gives him a 56.9% when worked out. And Dr. William Ruto has 5,938,160 votes, which gives him 41.7. And a lot of us would ask, where are these figures coming from? I also had that question in me, and everyone else in the party had that same question. And so we decided to go back to where it all began. We have what we call the polling station tallies. That is what matters most. And this is where people talk of what we call the Form 34A. And then we have that tallying into constituency tallies that gives you the Form 34B. So in reality, Form 34A is the start, then Form 34B comes next. So in other words, Form 34B is as official as Form 34A. So as we look at this, we note that the Form 34As are a myriad. There are so many, 46,000 plus of them, that cannot be displayed in any one instance. So it's better to go and look for the consolidated versions, which is the Form 34B. Now, that we grouped it up into county tallies that came to regional tallies and to national tally. And so our leader does not have time to go to all these things to the beginning. He can only mention the top value, which gives him this. When we compare that and we look at the vote difference, it turns out that now the leader, who is the former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, who was the presidential candidate, actually the leading presidential candidate, got a leading of 2,174,084 votes. That is the figure. We always like talking of votes up to the end, because these four are not just figures, they are people. So we cannot just say around this number. We must actually say up to the last person. There's a fourth person there involved. So these are human beings that we are looking at here. Don't look at them as figures. And then when we look at the BOMAS results, in our analysis, we could raise 193 polling stations. We could not access 36 polling stations from the portal. So that gave us a total of 7,146,574 human beings who voted for Ruto, and 6,926,844 people who voted for the Right Honourable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And this is what is ruling Kenya now. But we are looking at it like, if this is there and this other value is there, then there must be an issue. This gives us a vote difference of 216 in the Bomas portal, 730 people that we are told voted more for Ruto than for Raila. I want to take you to some basics because we want to finish this analysis as fast as possible. Let's look at a form like the one of Likoni here, which is from 34B. We have said we cannot access from 34A. And even if you go to the agents that we had in many places, they didn't take it like, they took those forms and handed over somewhere and then the forms were like not available. But now we are able to access Form 34B. So let's stick to Form 34B. When you look at this, this is the Bomas portal form 34B at the title. Then I take you a little there and you can see I've made a slight change that takes me now to the server forms that came later on. I wanted to check on something here. There is some dot I'm cycling here. You can see that. And then if I come to this, there's again this dot that I am cycling here. You can see it tells you that these forms are exact features, exactly the same. When you look at the titles and the numberings on the forms, they are also exactly the same. Then when we come to the sign part, the signature part, we have this from the Bomas that somebody called Vanessa signed here, and also somebody called Christabel also signed for Azimio. So there's a UDA representative and an Azimio representative. Then we have the returning officer also signing and an IBC stamp. Then we go to this other form. Most of us may not even see that I have made a change. But this other form also is almost the same, not almost, exactly the same features with the stamp and the people in there. So I'll take you to where we got these forms from and you will see the different features in there. Then when we go to the inside of the forms, now with a naked eye, as you can look, you will see that it's almost hard to differentiate between this form and this form. I have two forms here. There is one here that I have highlighted. Then there is another one here which I also highlighted. You can not see much difference if you just check on it and you'll brush it off. And remember, there are 291 of them that you're supposed to look at. That is including the diaspora. Now let's go and check on a few differences in these forms. In this form, which comes from the server, later on from the whistleblower, we have a value that I have cycled here. You can see that here, now Raila, now with all due respect, allow me to refer to them by just first names because of the time, so that you can get it clear. So here, the Honorable Raila has 270, and the Honorable Ruto has 79. But when we go to this other form, now the Honorable Raila has 170 and the Honorable Ruto has 179 in this same station called Likodep, Station 1 out of the 10 stations in Likodep. Now looking at it clearly, from the first instance, you can see that all these other values remain the same, but this only one changes. And this only changes. So when you go down to the totals, now from the server, you know, the two gentlemen are doctors, so sometimes I'll be referring to Dr. Raila Molo and Dr. Ruto, sometimes Honorable Ruto and Honorable Raila. So here we have Honorable Raila getting 24,544 votes against Dr. Ruto's 12,808 votes. Okay? But when we go to this other form that was now the official form at the Bomas, now the Honorable Raila has 24,400 144. Taking you back,
were being overturned by 100 to favor the other.
yeah, that's what likely it's showing up, because if you look at these forms, like here we have 270, and we can assure you that this is as official as this form here with 170. It means that now, the Honorable Raila had 270, now he has 170, that means 100 votes have been taken from him. And then now if you look at it here, Honorable Ruto had 79, but now he has 179. That means the 100 has been given directly to him. Checking on it, Professor Wajakoya and David Mwaure had their values unchanged. This is 1-3, that gives us a total of 353 and 353. And with all due respect to the two other candidates, who is Professor Wajakoya and the Honorable Mwaure, we checked through your data, and we noticed that in all the forms there was no variance. No value was taken from you, and no value was added to you at any one point. And this is what the system gave us. So there is no problem in this, because we decided that if we don't have variances for Professor Wajakoya and for David Mwaure, then we don't need to look at their data here. But we respect them as presidential candidates, and please accept that we can go on with just the two gentlemen.
Now, there's one viewer here who asked a question. He's called, I think I've lost him. No, yeah. Nas Hassan says this kind of election problems must end once and for all. Now, this is a matter of concern to many Kenyans, because what Azimio leadership has been trying to say in public and also in private fora is that the election was bungled, presidential election was bungled, and the question is, what is this that was being relayed in Bomas? Isn't it what is supposed to be in the server? Is there a difference between what was in the server, or what is in the server, and what was being relayed to the public in the Bomas, in the IBC portal at the Bomas of Kenya auditorium?
Yeah, thank you, sir. We have a body mandated to carry out elections, and this is IEBC. They gave us results at the portal, and those results were hurriedly announced. And remember, for those who have forgotten a little bit about how it happens, the Form 34A is from the polling station that informs Form 34B. This is what we see the commissioners reading during the live transmissions. And then we change that to Form 34C and then to Form 34D that is now used to declare the president. When somebody else comes with another set of data that contradicts yours, it is up to you as IEBC to come and either refute that or try to investigate further and say, where are these results coming from? Because now they are in public domain. We have them here. We have given them to the public. And so we have two types of courts in this life. We have the normal courts, and then we have the public court. Now, the public court already has this, and they are trying to assess it. It is up to the IEBC to come and define and say, this is the source of the other form, and probably it is not correct, if they think it is not correct. But they stick to their own portal. But they're still quiet about it, and nothing is being said, and it's like that data is supposed to just float out